Today I'm in one of the most interesting countries in Europe, where East meets West. Can you guess where it is? This is an unlikely place for business and culture to collide because in the West we often drink a Coca-Cola with everything that we want, but in this specific country there's a lot of influence from the East that has massively affected Coca-Cola's business. And I'm going to be walking you through it today, and we're going to see if we can find a Coca-Cola in this specific country. So let's get on with it. In case you can't guess, this is the longest running river in the country. It's called the Vltava, and I'm actually in Prague today. And it's going to be quite interesting because as I move through the country and I interact with different people, I'm going to show you guys exactly how their culture is different from ours, the best approach you need to take when you're working with a business from this country. And I'm also going to exemplify how Coca-Cola is losing a ton of money by not being the leader for drinks in this country, because everywhere I've gone, they kind of offer me a Pepsi and I've not really been able to find a Coke. So let's go and see if we can find one. So we're actually walking to the old town of Prague. And if it's something you're not aware of, it's actually separated into two parts of the city. So you have Old Town Prague and then you have New Town Prague. We're going to Old Town Prague, and once we get there, you're going to see some absolutely beautiful buildings. You're going to see a mix of baroque and gothic architecture, which absolutely makes the city beautiful. But it also helps us understand that there are some cultural differences where there's a lot of Eastern influence, because quite some time ago, the Czech Republic was actually under USSR rule. And it's definitely affected the way that business is conducted here. You'll generally see that it's a bit slower, and business dealings take quite a bit longer than they do, say, for example, in the United States, where people are very quick to get stuff going, to get stuff started. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but here are the drinks at this restaurant. And this really gives you a good idea because most of the places you go here are kind of the same. You can't really get a Coca-Cola here. You see Pepsi. Pepsi is kind of winning there. And I think the most popular drink here is called Kofola. I'm going to see if I can try to find one of those as well. But if we think about the reason this is happening, there's actually a lot of history involved with it. When the American soldiers came here during World War II, Coca-Cola was regarded as something that was super expensive and not a lot of people could actually get their hands on. And if they could get their hands on it, it indicated that they were a bit more richer and had a bit more exposable income. Synonymous with that at the time, because Czech Republic was under the USSR, you found that it was generally met with a bit of anti-American sentiment. So a lot of people just generally tended to adopt other drinks like Pepsi. My partner and I were walking through the city, and we were a bit off-put by how quiet it actually was. And it turns out that the Czech Republic actually has a specific law where you have to be quiet at night. And if you're very loud, you can actually get a ticket. And that just makes me feel that there's a lot more Eastern culture and influence than, just the businesses that are operating within the country. It seems like something ingrained in the people that's definitely a part of their culture, which really highlights why it's so important to take a culturally nimble approach whenever you are talking with people across borders and trying to do business with them. So I think I found the next place that we're going to try to get some food and see if we can find a Coca-Cola. And the main reason why is because they have pickled cheese. And it absolutely sounds delicious. So you can see here they got the pickled cheeses, the assorted pickled cheeses that are right here. Definitely a different type of architecture, different type of style. It's definitely not what we would see in the United States. And if we did, it would probably be something very specific, very niche. But yeah, here's the menu. We're gonna see what we can get. So we just sat down. We're gonna start eating. But I want to show you guys. I got this lemonade here for obvious reasons. Can't get anything else that I want. But let's taste it. Ooh, quite different. Not what you expect from a lemonade. It's very bubbly, has a lot of carbonation. You see there's a lemon floating around in it, but as you can see, the guy just brought us our food, and oh, I'm so excited for this. This is pickled cheese. Look at that. Love me some pickled food. So let's go ahead. It comes with some bread. So I can't leave it behind. It's pickled and it's gonna be delicious, so I'm not leaving it behind. But yeah, here's what it looks like. And you might be thinking that doesn't look very delicious, but let's taste it. That is good. If you've never had pickled cheese before, you have to have some because that is delicious. I don't even have a word to explain it. It's just like creamy, melts in your mouth. The bread itself is just very, it's not hard, it's not too dry. It's absolutely delicious. All right, guys, so here's what we decided to eat. He's got a bohemian platter. I opted for something quite different. I got some zucchini, some salad, some tofu, got a little bit of pesto on there, and it's also got some potatoes. Looks like they're grilled, fried. This is the most difficult country I've ever been in to find a Coca-Cola, and so tomorrow, another fun-filled day, and we'll see if I can get my hands on one. Not a big deal because I can drink something else, obviously, but I don't know about you. I'm definitely a Coke person. And now I'm seeing this more as a like, can I do it rather than here's what I actually want. Can I find one? Can I get it in a city where culture is really clashing with this business? So I'm hoping I really can. So a couple other things I found out actually about the business culture here that make this a unique country that might have some impact on the way Coca-Cola is conducting business, apart from the fact that it was seen as like a drink for people that had a bit more money, and that's how it really came to be anti-Coca-Cola here, more of the Pepsi and even the more local Coca-Cola, is the way that the country interacts whenever they're doing business together. So let me show you guys. I'm actually working on my blog post here. So this is my blog post, which I'm writing, and you guys can read about it if you want. But I want to talk about the differences in business culture as well for a minute. And the one I really want to focus on here is tolerance for foreigners. And I know a lot of you are probably saying, oh, well, you know, if there's tolerance for foreigners, why do I really have to learn the differences in cultural nuances in business? But the truth of the matter is, if you have to work with somebody who tolerates you versus somebody who actually likes you because you get to know them, you get to know their business, you get to understand their culture, who are you going to choose to work with? For me, it's always going to be the person that understands me, tries to know who I am, where I came from, and know a little bit more about me. So this really brings into light, if you go ahead and read this blog post, you're going to find out that the Czech people are actually super sweet and accommodating, even if it might seem that they aren't. So they're going to go the extra mile to try to understand who you are as a person. Maybe we should try to do the exact same when we're working with them. It's something very difficult, especially for people in the United States, to really come to grips with. But business at the end of the day is about making connections. And you make connections by understanding people's culture, understand their differences, and actually getting to know them on a deeper personal level. And when you can cultivate this kind of relationship with somebody, you're going to be able to do business with them for a very long time. And it's going to lead to more money in your business. It's going to lead to better connections in the world. So in case you're wondering throughout the video, what is the most popular drink here? It's actually this. And this is a cola that companies made. And they did it because there was such a negative sentiment toward Coca-Cola that this was the solution. It's called Coca-Cola. And I've never had this before, so let's taste it and let's see how it is. And I'll tell you guys how it compares to a Coke, because I read online that it is less sweet than a Coca-Cola. And it's one of the reasons people tend to like it a little better. So let's go ahead and open this and have a drink. That is a very difficult cap to get off, so let's try it. Doesn't really taste like a Coca-Cola. Tastes like kind of like a root beer and a cream soda. Had a baby and they poured a little bit of Coca-Cola in there. So think of it as just like that mixed between a cream soda, a root beer, and a Coca-Cola. Not bad. Not near as good as a Coca-Cola. All right, so now's the moment we all been waiting for. Can we actually find a Coca-Cola in the Czech Republic? Because as you learned, it's a bit hard to get your hands on. Before I tell you the answer for this, I want to show you what I'm eating right here. This is something that I have been looking for because I read online that they have it. And basically, this is a pickled sausage. So I'm assuming they just put it in like vinegar or whatever. But let's go ahead and taste it and see how it is, because I'm curious to know. All right, guys. So my microphone stopped working by this point. In actuality, this was an appetizer. This was before the main meal. My partner and I shared this. And I'm just going to eat it all together. And the moment this went in my mouth, it was
pure bliss. As you can see, that is a breath of deliciousness, and then immediately that smile. This was the most delicious sausage I think I've ever had on the planet, and I would recommend it 1000%. And guess what? I was able, finally, after 3 days of searching, to get a Coca-Cola. Now, keep in mind, it was very expensive to get this Coca-Cola. I think this was about £4. And as you can see, it's a very tiny bottle of Coca-Cola. There I am actually asking, trying to convert the price of this because I was a little bit baffled to hear that this was, about £4. As you can see, my face is like, what in the world? And we're sitting here talking about the price. So overall, you can get a Coca-Cola in the Czech Republic, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny. As you can see, culture really affects the way that people do business, and it's really actually affecting Coca-Cola's bottom line. Coca-Cola actually overtook them, and Coca-Cola was just mandated to take out all of their soft drinks out of schools. Alright guys, so I'm back home, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm absolutely downing these cough drops because I'm a little bit ill. I seem to pick something up while I was away in Prague. But as you can see, culture and business are very, very much intertwined. And if you are trying to do business with other people in other parts of the world, you absolutely have to understand who they are, where they come from, their history, how they interact on a daily basis. I'm also going to be leaving a link below so you can download a PDF form that will help you go through the steps to understand people's culture. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and click it, grab it, and I'll see you guys in the video next week. That's it for today. Bye-bye.